If these 3 ships had sunk, Spain would have gone bankrupt overnight. Noble families could have collapsed, and the wealth of an entire kingdom would have vanished beneath the Atlantic without a single coin of return. This wasn't a gamble in a casino. The Spanish crown risked what would be billions of dollars today on 3 fragile wooden ships, with no guarantee they'd ever come back. Storms, mutiny, disease, one wrong decision, one leak, one misstep, and everything was gone. Yet Spain did it anyway, because the potential reward was unimaginable. In this video, you'll see how this first billion-dollar venture unfolded, and how a single voyage reshaped global finance forever. History often presents Columbus as a curious explorer guided by destiny, but the reality is far more dramatic. This was Europe's first billion-dollar venture, and the stakes were astronomical. Behind every barrel of salted meat, every plank on the Santa María, and every rope on the Niña lay the weight of Europe's largest investment in 1492. Spain's treasury, still recovering from decades of warfare and the costly Reconquista, poured hundreds of thousands of maravedis into this journey. Secret contributions from merchants, Genoese bankers, and Portuguese financiers amplified the risk. One misstep could bankrupt the crown, ruin noble families, and erase fortunes across the continent. Columbus's voyage wasn't just exploration, it was venture capital on the high seas, centuries before Wall Street existed. Columbus commanded 3 ships, Niña, Pinta, and Santa María. The crown invested roughly 1.14 million maravedis on construction, repairs, and supplies, around 7 to 10 million US dollars today. Crew salaries for about 90 sailors, plus promised bonuses, added hundreds of thousands more. Supplies alone, salted meat, wine, water, weapons, rope, tools, and spare sails, cost roughly 500,000 maravedis, bringing the total upfront investment to 1.7 million maravedis, equivalent to 12 to 15 million US dollars in modern terms. Private investors, including Genoese merchants and Portuguese bankers, contributed secretly, hoping to share profits. They were effectively venture capitalists of the 15th century, risking entire fortunes on untested ships and one man's audacious plan. The capitulations of Santa Fe, Columbus's contract with Ferdinand and Isabella, reads like a Wall Street prospectus. Columbus would receive 10% of all riches discovered: gold, silver, spices, and human labor. He would govern any new lands, controlling taxation and trade. This unprecedented deal made Columbus both explorer and shareholder, with his personal profits directly tied to the voyage's success. The crown calculated that potential gains far outweighed upfront costs, but failure could be catastrophic. Merchants hedged their bets using letters of credit and primitive insurance contracts. If the voyage failed, investors could lose 12 to 15 million US dollars upfront, plus potential profits of $100 million or more. Cargo risks and high-stakes trade. Each ship carried critical cargo. Spices like pepper, cinnamon, and cloves valued at $50,000 to $100,000 per ton. Today, silk, textiles, and glassware as trade goods and collateral weapons, sails, and tools, essential for survival. A single storm, leak, or mutiny could destroy all cargo, erasing investors' money instantly. Modern analysts would call this high-leverage risk, where a single event could wipe out years of planning, manpower, and capital. Europe's financiers weren't passive. Many merchants used letters of credit, allowing them to finance cargo without moving gold. Others employed primitive insurance to protect shipments, or secondary investments to spread risk across multiple voyages. These methods were the backbone of Europe's early financial system, demonstrating that Columbus's voyages weren't just exploration, they shaped global finance. Not just money was at risk, sailors' lives were part of the ledger. Wages, bonuses, and survival odds were calculated to estimate financial risk. Every sailor was both a worker and an investment, making the voyage a fully integrated financial operation, centuries ahead of its time. The crown and investors knew that mutiny, disease, or death could destroy the venture's return. Wages and supplies were pre-calculated to maintain morale and ensure survival, a form of risk management rarely seen in Europe at the time. Columbus meticulously planned the voyage, detailed supply inventories, salted meat, wine, water, grain, and medical herbs, backup ropes, sails, and tools for repairs, training crew for navigation, emergency repairs, and ration management. The Spanish crown treated these preparations like a multi-million-dollar project, with multiple layers of risk analysis. Investors and crown officials constantly recalculated probabilities of success versus total loss. From departure, tension was palpable. Unpredictable winds, saltwater damage, and limited provisions made each day a gamble. Investors monitored letters from the fleet as if they were daily stock reports, and delays or disasters could trigger panic across Europe. Storms battered the ships. Sailors grew sick, morale wavered, and threats of mutiny loomed. Every day tested both Columbus's leadership and the financial structure of the venture. Supplies were meticulously tracked. Each barrel of meat, cask of wine, and ration of water was calculated in maravedis to ensure the voyage didn't run over budget. Crew wages, bonuses, and the cost of maintaining morale were constantly calculated, centuries before accounting software existed. When Columbus reached the Caribbean, the financial stakes exploded. Gold, silver, and exotic goods became liquid assets, flowing back to Spain. Investors saw their bets multiply, while the crown gained funds to finance additional voyages and military campaigns. However, losses also occurred. Some cargo spoiled, ships were damaged, and disputes arose among investors, merchants, and the crown over profits and ownership of discovered resources. This financial drama rivaled the voyage itself. Sailors were part of the investment. Wages, survival, and bonuses were tied to success. A mutiny, illness, or accident could destroy not only lives, but return on investment. Investors understood that human risk was inseparable from financial risk, making the voyage one of history's first fully integrated ventures. The return on investment was extraordinary. Spain gained gold, spices, silk, and new territories, yielding returns worth tens of millions in today's dollars. Private investors earned profits, and Columbus secured his contractual share. The crown, meanwhile, could fund further expeditions and strengthen Spain's economic position in Europe. Even so, some investors lost capital due to spoilage, accidents, and crew disputes. This highlighted a critical truth. High-reward investments carry high risk, a lesson repeated in global finance for centuries. Columbus's voyage set the stage for Europe's first global economy. The combination of investment, risk management, and profit sharing created a blueprint for modern venture capital and international trade finance. The expedition showed that bold financial decisions could reshape the world, that human lives could be factored into complex investments, and that calculated risk was essential for unprecedented gains. Columbus's 3 ships were more than wooden vessels. They were floating fortunes, carrying gold, silk, spices, and human ambition. Every plank, rope, and sail represented a calculated risk, and the success or failure of the voyage could reshape Europe's financial system. Europe's first taste of global finance came not from banks or stock markets, but from 3 wooden ships navigating unknown oceans. Investors risked everything, sailors risked their lives, and history was forever changed. Next time you hear Columbus discovered America, remember, he didn't just sail west, he gambled billions, reshaped global trade, and created Europe's first high-stakes financial system. If this story amazed you, stay tuned. The next episode will reveal how Columbus's voyages set the stage for Europe's first global economy. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. The world's first billion-dollar adventure isn't over yet.